welcome to another episode of This is Rico trying to heal my inner child. In this episode, we are going to cover the topic of money, or more specifically, my experiences with money as a youngster. Now, I'd like to start by saying that I am not a doctor, I am not a therapist, I am not a medical professional in any way. Just a regular person trying to get through life and trying to navigate what's going through here. So, I just wanted to touch down on the influence of money, or at least the experiences I had with money growing up. So, once I hit the age where I could drive, then that's when they decided if I could drive, then I could get a job, and then I could, pay for my own gas, pay for my own insurance. Um, but at the same time, now their thoughts are, since you're working, now you can pay us for rent. You can pay us for the food you're eating, and you can pay us for existing. You can pay us for the electricity you're using and the water you're using. So, you know, I do remember being younger though, before I was working, and my mom would, anytime we would get some money, say it was like in a birthday card or something, or just an uncle would come over and would hand me $10, I would want to go buy something fun. And she would always say stuff like, "Oh, that money's burning a hole in your pocket. You don't know how to hold on to money. You don't know how to hold on to money." They never really taught me anything. So, you know, of course, I get some money in my pocket. I want to buy something. Of course, I do. And that just kind of made me. They just treated me like I was dumb with money. Like I was just gonna go spend it all right away and not save any of it. So my mom would take, like, probably after I would cash my check, I would pay them the money that for rent, and then she would take like half of my money and keep it in an envelope in her bedroom. And her her logic was just, I don't trust you with money, so I'm going to save it for you. She could have taught me how to start a bank account. She could have taught me how to, could have taught me how to start a checking account. Any of that. But she didn't. She just took the money and, like, demanded that I give her that money. And whenever I wanted to buy something with my money, I had to beg her for it. To beg her for my own money. And when I was younger, when I was a kid, I'm not going to say we didn't get anything. We were, we got by, and we got some pretty cool stuff, cool toys when we were younger, but we didn't get everything. We weren't like spoiled at all, but we had got some pretty cool stuff. And so what I was saying was, it's not like we didn't get anything, but there was a lot of times where we'd be out and I would see something and ask, "Can I get this?" And much of the time it was no. No, no, we don't have money for that. No. No. And again, I'm not saying that I was deprived of anything. There was just so many times where I would ask for something and we just didn't have money for it. So, that's kind of just how it was. Well, with that being said, later in life when I was making my own money, having to pay rent, which wasn't that bad. It was like $50 a week. And then I had to pay into my own savings account, which my mom would just take my money. So I would only have so much for the week after working. And so sometimes I would have to borrow money from my dad. Like if I was going to go out, I need to borrow some money. And he just used it. He held it over my head, like he always knew when payday was, and, where's my money right away. So, I would always have to pay him. And then I would have to give a bunch of my own money to my mom for her to hold on to me because they just didn't trust me with any of it. It just made me feel dumb. It made me feel like they thought I was so stupid that they just had to keep my money for me. They could have put it in a checking account or something. They could have taught me how to do that, or at least just did it for me. But they just held it, and she had kept it in her room. And, you know, like I mentioned before, that was my theory, is that they kept me dumb so that their usefulness would continue. Instead of teaching me how to get by, they wanted me to be dumb so that I would rely on them for little things like that, which in turn it just causes someone to just go look for themselves or go find out for themselves. If you got nobody guiding you with anything, you're just going to find out on your own. That's what I did. I had to find out so much stuff on my own in life. I had to figure out stuff on my own. Nobody ever to teach me anything. It was always, oh, you didn't know that? You know what? It's no, I didn't know that. Teach me. Tell me what that is. I didn't come pre programmed with everything. And when he would talk, my dad would talk to other people and he, excuse me, he would explain stuff. He didn't mind explaining it to them. But if he had to explain something to me, he just would treat me like I was dumb because I didn't know what ahead of time, whatever it was he was talking about. Years later, when I would ask my mom for a favor, like say, "Hey, can you watch the boys for us? We just want to go shopping for a couple hours." But before I could even ask, I would say, "Hey, can you do us a favor?" And my mom would just reply instantly, "Well, if you need money, we don't have any." It just took me by surprise because I wasn't going to ask for money. I was just asking for a favor. And she just immediately thought I was, going to ask for money. And I found out later that my brothers were both like borrowing money here and there from them, borrowing the credit card, paying back little by little, $20 a week, whatever. So she just immediately assumed I was going to try to get money from them too, like they were doing. I don't know what their dealings were. I don't know what happened between them. All I know is that there was borrowing here and there, and I was just guilty because they were doing it. She thought I was going to borrow money too, and would always just kind of have this attitude with me, like I only wanted money from them. I would just call to see how they're doing, and she would just kind of give me attitude for no reason. And I was just calling to see how you're doing. But all it did was make me learn even more that I just couldn't ask for anything. I couldn't ask for help. I couldn't ask for help without attitude or some kind of, you know, stupid explanation as to why I'm asking too much. So, you know, so when you get later in life, when you get into trouble or you get into a hole and you can't get out, you don't know what to do because you don't know how to ask for help. That's difficult. It's difficult to get through life like that. I'm going to take a quick break and I will be back with a little more. This is Rico trying to heal my inner child. Hello and welcome back to This is Rico trying to heal my inner child. I'm going to conclude this video with this segment here and just, you know, wrap up what I was mentioning about money and lack thereof. Um, when I was younger, I wasn't making a lot of money. I just had a little bit here and there. So sometimes when you want something, you find ways to get it. And I found ways to get stuff. Um, Not honest ways to get stuff, but to get ways to get stuff. I got really good at you know nicking things, kind of grabbing things here and there. 5 finger discount. It started with cassettes because I could fit them right up my sleeve. Go in there, I can get get a Led Zeppelin, and walk out, and they didn't know. And you know, I have plenty stories of that too. Later in life, where I was meant to feel that I wasn't deserving of anything, money that you had to spend money on. So sometimes I would just go out and grab stuff. I'm not proud of it. I'm not proud of it at all. I got really good at it. I remember in the beginning, I would get really nervous. And when I'd get out to the car, I could just like feel my heart was going to jump out of my chest. Then I got so good at it that it was just like a normal thing. And I could walk in and out without even batting an eye. And nobody ever noticed. Nobody ever suspected nothing, nothing at all. I would just go in, grab whatever I was looking for, and get out. And I would always only hit the big box. I didn't do it anywhere else. And I didn't take anything from anybody. It was just always from like stores, and when you feel like you owe everybody, my parents always made me feel like I owed them. I owed them for existing, just for existing. I owe them for life. Like I'm like supposed to be their servant because they banged one night, you know? So I understand now why I have a hard time asking for help, why I have a hard time controlling myself with money. After I got divorced, I bought everything I ever wanted. I spent all my money and now I'm in crushing debt. And that's all my fault. But, after so many years of being told, no, 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 being made to feel like you don't deserve it, being made to feel like you just aren't worthy. Well, then later on, find ways to get stuff yourself. All my money's gone. Sold that house and it's all gone. And now I have a bunch of debt. So I don't know. I'm trying to make my way. But, had I been taught a long time ago how to control myself with money or how to start a bank account, how to be responsible, that might have been different. But I wasn't taught that. I was just taught that I was dumb and that, I wasn't responsible enough to even deal with my own money. And, it's something that I didn't really consider until years later. I was always treated like I just didn't know what I was doing. So, you know, money's a big issue for me. We all need it. I know it's not everything, but we need it to survive. And, you know, I spoiled myself I could, because I could. So wherever I am, I have to deal with it myself. And that I will get out of where I am because I'm resourceful and I will figure out a way. Um, I've reached a point in my life where I'm tired of doing what I have to do. Now I've reached the point of I'm going to do what I want to do. I could go and I could go find a job somewhere and work in a warehouse or work in a kitchen. Do I want to do that? No. I physically I can't do the warehouses anymore. I've been burned out by the kitchens already, so I don't want to do that again. And I want to do something different, and that's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to live my life how I want to live it. If people want to be around, that's cool. If they don't, that's also cool. I will just refuse. I refuse to compromise myself any further. I'm just going to be my true self, and that's all I can do. It feels good knowing that I'm being true to myself and not being fake for the sake of someone else. Because I tell you, I did that for a long time, and it is not fun. It is soul crushing. So I just encourage everyone to be themselves, be yourself, do what makes you happy, do what makes you passionate. Just I understand we all have to get by, so we all have to get jobs and do stuff that we have to do. We might not be what we want to do, but don't lose sight of what it is that you do want to do. Hold on to that. Make that your inspiration. Always fight for it because it's worth it. It really is. I got to the edge and I was not considering that at all. And, I have kind of seen the light, and I want to do something what I want to. I want to do what I want to do, and just gonna keep moving forward because that's all I can do. We can keep on keeping on and never stop, never stopping, right? So I'm gonna wrap up this episode of This Is Rico, trying to heal my inner child. Um, yeah, and just thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for support. Thank you for everything. Please like, share, subscribe. Make sure you tell as many people as you can. I'm trying to branch out. I want to do some more. I want to do live stuff, so I need more subscribers. And if anyone's got comments, please leave me a comment, and I will reply to all comments. If you have any critiques, have any likes, dislikes, anything, I'd love to hear from you. So again, thank you for watching. And this is Rico with This Is Rico, trying to heal my inner child. Thank you, and I'll see you again very soon.